Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Grit Fight Shop boxing gloves. So check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm doing a review on the Grit Fight Shop of Japan high-spec model boxing gloves. They come in this unique design and colorway where the left glove comes in black and red and the right comes in black and white. Other than that, the gloves are identical. You can get them in two different sizes, 12 ounces like I have here, which is good for bag work, hitting the mitts. You can also get these in 16 ounces, which can do all of the above, including sparring. This particular model does not come and lace up and comes with this dual Velcro closure system, which we'll discuss in a little bit more detail here in a second. The gloves are made of the synthetic microfiber outside casing, and there's no actual tags or indicators anywhere if these gloves are manufactured in Japan or if they're made overseas like in Pakistan or China. I'm waiting to hear back from them, and once I do, I'll let you guys know. I'll put a comment down below on where these are manufactured. But they have that synthetic microfiber outside casing, and it uses a multi-layer foam padding, which I'd say is on the medium to soft side. So really good for all types of training, whether you're sparring, hitting the heavy bag, doing mid work, hitting the double end bag. This type of padding is really suitable for all of that. Now, Grit Fight Shop is an actual brick and mortar fight shop based in Japan. And they specialize in selling all kinds of boxing and combat sports equipment, from the high-end stuff like Winning, Asami. They also sell Fairtex, so they sell multiple brands, and then they have their own house brand, which is going to be these Grit Fight Shop high-spec model boxing gloves, and they have others as well. What I really like and what intrigued me about Grit is that you see a lot of these smaller companies in Japan that kind of remind me of like a Ringside Title, where they have their own house brand equipment, but they also sell other brands like Winning and Fairtex and Rival Boxing. So that's what really intrigued me, just because there's not a lot of information out there on these gloves, yet alone reviews, especially for us here in the United States, out here in the West. We don't really get a lot of opportunities to use this brand of equipment. So that's what really kind of spurred the idea to try these gloves out and see how they perform. I've had them for a couple of weeks now as part of my rotation, and decided to give you guys my review and my thoughts on these gloves. So other than the color, the right and left glove is identical. You'll notice that the synthetic on here, this microfiber, is very similar to what you see with some other brands like Fly. Cheerwing even uses a very similar type of synthetic. This has more of a satin, almost like a semi-gloss look to it. Nice little key features is the logo right here is actually embroidered into the synthetic, so it's not a actual printed logo. This is embroidered into it, and it does have a pretty soft touch feel. If you were to use a 16-ounce version for sparring, this feels soft enough to, even if you were to land across, it doesn't feel abrasive and won't damage your sparring partner. So that's the good news. You'll notice that it has that tapered Velcro wrist support. So you have that double stitching and you have that padding, and then you also have the wrist support that has grit that's also embroidered into the wrist support. Rotating to the palm side, you'll notice it has grit embroidered on the thumb. You have the red thumb right there, and then you also have a grip bar on the medium side with ventilated holes. No ventilated holes on the thumb, and it comes down to the Velcro strap system. So the Velcro strap system, you see, is very similar to some of the other Velcro systems you've seen in the past. Like Hayabusa has their own version with the T3, Onyx has their own version, Rival has their rendition of a much more secure strapping system. So very similar in the fact that you do have your standard Velcro strap that goes around, but it also has the Velcro on top. So once you lock that in, you basically have that crisscrossing motion, and you essentially have the support going both ways. So you have that dual Velcro strap system, and then the inside has a really nice smooth foamy tricot liner, which I like. The back of the wrist has, I'd say, maybe about an inch of foam padding. The inside maybe about a 1/4 inch that comes up and rounds out on the palm section. So you'll notice that The padding on both sides essentially comes up and does not end. It just kind of rounds around and comes back down. So a very unique looking glove. I do like the design on these. I like the black and red. It would be nice if they offered other colorways other than just black and red, and the right glove being black and white. Or it would be nice if they had gloves that were matching colors for those of you that don't like the contrast in colors. But that's the way they designed it, to be more unique and not look like other brands out there. So you do have that. Quality wise, these gloves actually have held up really nicely. Out of all the synthetics I've used throughout the years, this microfiber that they use on here, like what Rival has, like I mentioned before, Fly, has held up really well. The stitching on here looks really clean. The gloves are very well balanced. When I put them on the scale, I believe that they came in at right at like 11.8 and 11.7 ounces. So they're pretty much on target with weight at being 12 ounces. You'll notice that they're not a top heavy glove, so the distribution of weight is very nice. Even when I grab it just from the very back, you don't have that flop and sag on the middle section of the glove. Piping looks clean. They're nice and symmetrical with each other, so I'll show you both left and right glove. One is not higher or wider than the other, so very nice in that regard. And the stitching is on point as well, and nice liner on the inside. So I mean, overall quality wise is very, very good, where the index finger meets the thumb, and you do have that attached thumb as well. Comfort wise, when you slide your hand into the gloves, being a 12-ounce glove with hand wraps on, they are definitely a little bit more of a snug fitting glove. So one thing you'll notice is there's going to be a little bit of a break-in period. They're not a super stiff glove by any means, but there is definitely a break-in period. I'm not going to strap these in just yet, but kind of give you guys my first impression. So the thumb placement is really good. The seam here has loosened up over the last couple of weeks. At first it was a little bit on the tight side. You can open and close your hand relatively well. It does take a little bit of breaking in, but it's not super stiff like in molded foam gloves. So you can open and close your hand pretty well, and you could definitely feel that grip bar. Nice deep finger compartment. It's not too wide, it's not too narrow to where you feel like your fingers collapse. And the depth of the thumb is really good as well. So even when I make a fist, you can tell that this portion of the glove doesn't yank down with the attached thumb to pull the tip of the thumb down. So I definitely like that. Next is going to be the wrist support. That's going to be probably the big key feature of this glove. Goes on very nicely. And then this other side comes right across and locks in real nicely as well. The wrist support definitely feels nice and locked in. So if you're looking for a glove that want a little bit more of an emphasis on wrist support, this definitely would be the glove for you. My issue, or I guess the one opportunity I did not like about this Velcro strap system, is the fact that once you have both gloves on, it's a little bit difficult to remove the gloves because the straps on here are so thin, so there's not much of a lip. And you can see that's the end of the strap. There's not much of a lip there to grab onto. So when you're trying to take it off, you can see that it's kind of a pain to try to remove it. So you kind of almost have to use your palm and kind of lift on the strap to kind of expose the strap, or do one of those. So that's one thing I did notice. It would have been nice if they had maybe like a rubberized tab that was added to the end of this strap, so it's just easy to grab and just unhook and take your gloves off. Because I did notice that with both gloves on, the straps can be kind of a pain in the ass to remove once you're done training with the gloves. But overall comfort is definitely there. Protection and performance, this is a medium to soft density glove. You definitely land on those two front knuckles, which is really nice. You get good feedback from this. They feel real good on the bag. Good amount of protection and very well balanced. So good for all of your training needs. Cost-wise, these gloves, once you convert it from yen to dollars, is about 169 US dollars. I think it's a bit high for what these gloves are. The only reason I say that is because it is a synthetic glove. I do like the comfort in them. I like the foam padding, and I definitely like the Velcro strap system. But to me, this is more of like a $120, $130 glove. To me, 169, almost 170 bucks is a bit high. But obviously, taking into consideration, this is a glove that's imported from Japan. So they send it from their actual store So there's gonna be a little bit more cost involved, but I would say that this is more of like, again, a $120 to $130 glove in that range. But overall, a very solid glove. I like what they're doing here. If they offer more colorways and maybe even a lace up, I would be excited to see how those would perform. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Grit Fight Shop high spec model boxing gloves. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.